I believe in the law.
So you're a law and order guy.
Well, I mean, yeah. If we don't have rules, what you got? Chaos.
I have to ask, Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud, $385 million.
So?
Law and order, very, very important.
Very important.
Got to spit out my dip that I got going on here. It's kind of related to what's going on today. Breaking news out of the Manhattan courthouse where Donald Trump's hush money case is going on. Donald Trump was held in contempt of court today.
Oh my goodness.
Second time this has happened. This is a big deal. This is a big deal because of what might happen next. The next
day for law and order. What will law and order prevail?
So I'm not allowed to testify because of an unconstitutional gag order. We're appealing the gag order.
Trump is always pushing the envelope, kind of. I guess in all ways. I remember when he was elected president, people said he was going to test all the norms and boundaries and everything. Well, these criminal trials seem like they're going to be no different.
And comedy too. He just pushes the envelope with comedy.
He's not dealing with any of that PC crap. He's gonna
that's right.
Always push the boundaries. But the word today, as has been a couple times in the past, is contempt. Contempt of court. So I'm going to read a definition of contempt, just so we are all on the same page when we know that those things are being brought up, that we know what's being talked about. So
great. We're going to learn something here. This is
great.
We're
going to learn
something.
It's
be good for me.
I'm going to learn something. Contempt is defined differently in a criminal case by being called direct and indirect contempt of court. Direct contempt of court occurs if someone in the court directly yells at the judge, impedes the court's abilities, or otherwise disrespects the court. One example of this is someone having an outburst during a trial. If this occurs, that individual may be stopped and held in contempt. Indirect contempt happens outside of the courtroom. This could be violating rules regarding juror communications or refusing to provide necessary evidence. Like with contempt in family law cases, those charged with contempt in connection with criminal proceedings face numerous penalties. Contempt is a misdemeanor offense, which can lead to jail time and fines.
So wait a second. So with what's going on with Trump now, because a lot of this has to do with interviews that he's doing with far-right broadcasters and posting truths on Truth Social. Which one is
posting lies on Truth Social?
Yes, yeah. Which one is it for this one, Davram?
I mean, by the definition here, I'd have to say that it's probably indirect contempt, meaning he's not like stopping the proceedings in the room in the moment, or yelling at the judge during the trial. It's all things like you just pointed out that are happening, interviews and so forth, like outside the courtroom.
So really, Donald Trump is just too big of a coward to say this stuff to the judge's face. Instead, he gets on his little cell phone like a true troll, online troll, and just types on his keyboard and
this could be
posts it for everyone to see.
This could be, as opposed to direct contempt or indirect contempt, it could be brave contempt versus coward's contempt.
Okay, is that on the website too, or is this?
That is not. That's just us figuring stuff out.
These are new terms. New terms. Okay, good.
But yeah, it's all stuff that he, as we see these videos and everything. He will leave court and address cameras, or he'll do these interviews, or he'll do these unrelenting series of truths on his social media website for him to spout whatever he thinks.
So tell us what happened today, Davram. I know that he's been held in contempt 9 times, or for 9 different things.
Okay, so first, before getting into exactly today, I just want to say that what many people may know is that there was a gag order placed on Trump. That's why these things are of particular importance. He is barred from making public statements about jurors, witnesses, families of the judge and the prosecutors.
Should be easy stuff to do.
Should be easy stuff.
Really easy stuff to do. Yeah.
He's not supposed to make those statements if they are meant to interfere with the case, which they seem to be. Violations are punishable by fines of up to $1,000 or jail time of up to 30 days. So this was a gag order placed to stop Trump from doing the things he's done, which is he'll truth something about like the judge's daughter who has worked for Democrats in the past, I guess, in an effort to say that the whole case is, political persecution. That's
Kangaroo
the type of
court.
thing we
That's what
hear
we
from
heard a
our
bunch. Kangaroo
sources.
court. Yeah. You feel like it's made up? It's like a kangaroo court?
And you
This
feel
is
like
a
it's
kangaroo-
kangaroo court?
It's a kangaroo court is what you're saying?
What?
You believe it's a kangaroo court?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you believe it's kangaroo court? That's terminology from our sources. So Judge Merchan said this morning, I find you in criminal contempt for the 10th time, determining that Trump had violated the gag order when he made remarks about the case's jury on April 22nd during an interview on Real America's Voice after the trial had started. So Judge
Real
Merchan
America's
acknowledged
Voice.
that. What's that?
No, Real America's Voice. That I just want to say that when one of the
defended
young
us.
Republicans was trying to get us kicked out of the park, they defended us. So
Mhm.
I know they are a very far right news organization, but they came to the aid of the good liars and
did.
spoke up for our
And
First
the aid of
Amendment
free
rights.
speech in general, our First
Yes,
Amendment rights,
yes.
exactly. And the young Republican had to scurry away, realizing that he'd made no allies in his efforts to shut us down.
The 34-year-old young Republican had
Yes.
to run away. Yes, yes.
You're asking us to leave.
I'm just asking us to leave because media is supposed to be over there.
Hey, it's public park and
Public park, right?
a public park, right, guys? Free country.
Yeah. The judge is in a tough spot here. The former president is saying things sometimes about his own family, saying things about the jurors. Judge Merchan acknowledged that jailing Mr. Trump was, quote, the last thing he wanted to do, but explained that it was his responsibility to quote, protect the dignity of the justice system. So he's feeling the full weight of like former president on one side of him, saying these things, not wanting to like cross that red line of like putting him in jail over this, but also feeling like he's a representative of the justice system. And as we said, Trump always like pushing the lines, the boundaries. So this
He
was always gonna be
represents
a problem.
the law there
The law.
of the law and order.
Yeah,
that is
in
so
law and
important to
order.
yes, that is so important to so many of these Trump supporters.
I believe in the law.
He even went on to say, quote, you are the former president of the United States and possibly the next president as well. He's acknowledging what a
Gulp.
weighty decision this is and how much he does not want to throw him in jail. The violation for which he was punished on Monday stemmed from an incident on April 22nd, as we said, made disparaging remarks about the jurors during a telephone interview with far-right media outlet Real America's Voice.
Nobody's ever seen a thing go like this. That jury was picked so fast. 95% Democrats. The area is mostly all Democrats.
Adding, it's a very unfair situation. So that's like exactly what you can't do is like go to the media and say the trial's a sham trial. That's exactly what you can't do.
Can't do. And specifically targeting the jurors. And as we've seen several times and experienced ourselves, if Trump kind of like puts the spotlight on you, that's not just him saying something. That is a stand back and stand by for his supporters to go and send threats and do all the great stuff that they're known to do. Storm buildings. They've been known to storm a government building or two.
We'll have to talk about that more on another day. I don't remember that. But that is like, do you think that's why he made Truth Social? Like, do you think that's the biggest reason? So he would have a place he could do that?
I don't know. I think he just was like, I want people to listen to me.
Media empire one day.
And he also, I think if it would have failed, like if it didn't catch on, I know it hasn't caught on great, but it was valued at these billions of dollars and is now steadily going down and down and down in value. But people are still reporting on it because he's posting there, and now he's the leading candidate for president.
Right.
I think if it would have failed, he would have been like, I had nothing to do with that. I was doing somebody a favor. I don't care about Truth Social. And he would have been back on Twitter or whatever it is.
Call.
But
that's a good call.
Yeah.
So
where does that leave us now? So
the judge said,
you're saying he's basically saying explicitly jail time. Does that mean the next time he's out of order here, he's going to go and post something tonight? There's no way he's not. I actually just checked through social while you were saying some of that to be like, did he do something from
Did
the
he do it right
bathroom at the
now?
court? Yeah, which he has done at the courthouse. The next time this happens, is that the next step, or is the judge just? It's always going to be at the judge's discretion whether or not he wants to throw him in jail.
You know,
Because
that's a
obviously
great
that would be
question.
huge.
I wish I had
huge deal.
a more a firmer answer on that. I saw somewhere, but it didn't seem super clear that after 10 times of being held in contempt, which this would be the 10th, that I think jail is the next thing that follows. Now, I don't know if every judge has to adhere to that. Would have to look into it a little bit more. I think the article would have made it clear if it was one more infraction and it had to be jail. So I do think the judge has discretion there. The judge's quotes make it sound like he has discretion there, but you know, in this most recent contempt, the judge said, "quote: the defendant not only called into question the integrity and therefore the legitimacy of these proceedings, but again raised the specter of fear for the safety of the jurors and their loved ones." So I think the judge will feel, as you mentioned with Truth Social and the way that Trump can kind of point his, angry supporters at people, the judge will feel that this is like a safety issue at some point and would have to clearly, you're talking about someone with this much money, the $1,000 fines are not going to stop him from doing what he's doing. So
also, it's got to be a logistical nightmare, not to mention like what the public outcry would be. And Donald Trump would probably fucking love it if he was thrown in jail. I don't think he would love being in jail. He would be,
right.
It would probably scar him for life, but just what that would do for his supporters and what he could say. He's been thrown in jail and he did it all for, I did it all for you. But thinking about what that would actually look like,
we are.
It's crazy. The leading candidate for president ahead in almost every single poll is not only he just like can't deal with the law and order that he keeps talking about.
I believe in the law.
And he's such a baby that he can't just stop whining and just like let this trial play out.
Right.
If he ends up in jail, like
because
not only is that going to be a logistical nightmare.
Why wouldn't he keep whining? That's the thing. It's like, for some reason, people who support him don't see it as whining. They see it as like this noble pursuit of protecting them. So it just plays to his base and gets attention to make this as difficult as possible. So all motivation is to do what he's doing, and also the misinformation that it allows him to spread about the trial. So the last thing I wanted to say here is the same afternoon. I think this is one of the previous times he was held in contempt. When court let out, Mr. Trump falsely told reporters that the gag order would prevent him from testifying in his own defense at the trial.
I'm not allowed to testify because this judge, who's totally conflicted, has me under an unconstitutional gag order. Nobody's ever had that before. And we don't like it, and it's not fair. Other people are allowed to do whatever they want to us, and I'm not allowed as a presidential candidate, the leading candidate, the Republican Party nominee, and the one who's leading Biden by a lot. I'm not allowed to talk. So I'm not allowed to testify because of an unconstitutional gag order. We're appealing the gag order, and let's see what happens. Thank you very much.
On Friday morning, Justice Merchan took a moment to publicly correct the former president, instructing him that the order, quote, does not prevent you from testifying in any way. So, but do you think anybody heard the judge's correction, or they all think he is unable and unallowed to testify?
I mean, it depends on where you get your news. We said it before. A lot of the Trump supporters we talk to get their news from Truth Social. Yeah, right. They get it from Donald Trump, which, as we've stated before, is not a real reliable news source. In fact, there's a lot of editorializing going on there, and then flat out lies that happen. So if Trump goes to jail, they're going to have to coordinate with the Secret Service. Like, it's going to be a whole thing, logistical nightmare for everybody involved. And also, like,
they're going to have to get him his
totally
Cokes. They're going to have to get him his Big Macs. They're going to have to get him all those things.
He's eating the food. He's eating the food there. I think that's the way it goes. I mean, probably some of the officers will give him some special treatment. But I mean, who knows? It's just a wild, wild situation that we're in as a country, not just here in New York.
I dread it because I don't see any world in which him pushing it to the most extreme doesn't benefit him. Like, I wish there was a way to incentivize him to cooperate, but the more he pushes back, the better I think it plays for his base. So here's the situation we find ourselves in. Of course, he's going to push the envelope. If he spends a night in jail, it'll be good for him.
Okay, Davram, I'm going to put you on the hot seat here. Okay, this is week 4, right, of the trial we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen? Your prediction for the rest of the trial? Yes or no? Will Donald Trump end up in jail by the end of the trial? Yes or no? One word is all I want from you right now. It's a yes. Yes, really? Okay. Okay.
Near the end, he's going to time it out just right.
Maybe
He's going to time it out just right. There's going to be so much pressure on the verdict. He's going to have maximum eyes on it. He wouldn't do it now and then let another month of trial pass. I think he would do it the last week of the trial. He would push.
I just think it's so telling that he just sits there in court and like sulks and sleeps and shakes his head, but then he's just such a coward. He won't say anything to anyone's face because he just likes pushing the envelope in the safest way as possible for him.
That indirect contempt. Well, we started off with a video, right?
You're right.
About law and order.
I believe in the law.
So you're a law and order guy.
Well, I mean, yeah. If we don't have rules, what you got? Chaos.
I have to ask, Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud, $385 million.
So?
Law and order.
I'm not electing a priest.
I know, but does that bother you that he was found guilty of that, being a law and order person?
Well, compared to what?
I'm saying he did a thing that was very illegal. He owes hundreds of millions of dollars. You're a law and order guy. Does that bother you?
Well, I mean, is he the only one that's ever did that?
I didn't say he's the only one who ever did that.
Okay, I know that. That's a loaded question.
Well, it seems A to B. If you really value law and order, but Trump is guilty of crimes, does it bother you that Trump, your guy, did a fraud that is costing him nearly $400 million?
Well, it bothers me, but it ain't going to deter my vote, sir. I still vote for him. If he had 21 million felonies, I'm voting for him.
21 million felonies, Davram. Do you think we need to get to 22 million felonies? Is this Jack Smith?
I think that gentleman made it perfectly clear that was his limit. I
want to say something really fast.
Past 21 million, I think it's possible Trump loses some votes.
This just came to my mind because I was checking my email, and we have an email that we get campaign emails from Democrats, Republicans. Every event we've ever been to, it's this one email address that I have. And I just got a Trump fundraising email. The subject line was "Arrest Jack Smith." So it's like he's got the New York case, and now he's fundraising off of saying he wants to arrest the special counsel. It is what a effing time to be alive right now. It's wild. It's wild.
Right. It's you could not have really predicted this, or maybe some people would say you totally could.
It's a great way to fundraise, though. They're trying to arrest me because I'm fighting for you.
If you send us $5, we'll definitely arrest Jack Smith.
And $60 for a Bible. $60 for a Bible too. All right. Well, Davram, thank you for walking me through the criminal contempt and for looking up these definitions.
Order.
Don't hold me in contempt right now. Actually, I'm going to tweet about you right now, Davram. Sloppy Davram Stiefler. Sloppy Stiefler.
I don't like it.
No? You don't like it?
Nope. That'll never stick.
All right, Sloppy Stiefler. Thank you for joining us. We talked about this, everybody. For Sloppy Stiefler, I'm Jason Selvig. Have a great day. You're not going to respond to that? You're just going to shake your head? He's a coward. He won't even say it. He's going to tweet.
Coward Jason.
All right. Thanks for joining us.